Here, here's, here, here, Sarah, here, Gamble, here.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One thing, under 183A, we're gonna add Sydney Berger as a high school, special ed para. I think that's the only change, so correct.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as amended. Second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Waivers, we don't have any waivers, I don't believe. The next one is to approve minutes from May 13th and May 23rd. I don't believe there's any changes, they were emailed out.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from May 13th and then May 23rd.
There's a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approve expenditures A through C, unless you need to pull anything out, we would need a motion for that.
Motion to approve expenditures A through C. I'll second.
So a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Financial statements, A through K. Again, if there's anything specific that you want to pull out, we can, but if not, we would entertain a motion.
Make a motion. Oh, go ahead, Jody. To approve financial statements.
Okay, we have
I'll second.
a second, okay? Motion and a second to approve financial statements, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Unfinished business, we have the wellness policy that we looked at last month. I guess if there's no changes to it, I can kind of see Darcy over there. Darcy, was there any other changes or additions? Nothing?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay, so we're looking for a motion to approve the policy changes that Darcy went through last month.
Make a motion to approve policy section 8 wellness. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Next item, new business. So we will start with the approval of the contracts and resignations list. It was in the packets. And we have that change on there for Sydney Berger.
Yep, I can run through them quickly. Student workers, Garrett Kolsky, $12 an hour. Michaela Zopp, $12 an hour. Resignation of Greg Watson as middle school sped paraprofessional. And this will all make sense in a moment. Certified work agreement, Greg Watson, student success family liaison. So he's taking another position in the district. And that is at our master's space, 56040. Approve classified work agreement, Andrew Karp, middle school technology assistant and library aide. $20.56 an hour. And Sydney Berger, high school paraprofessional, $19.56 an hour. 2025-26 extra duty, Dan Van Bever, head boys golf coach and head girls golf coach. $5,038.80 for each. Tom Paulson, co-middle school student council, $1,326. Amended extra duty contracts. Shannon Molman, co-elementary student council, $21.2160. Pam Smith, co-elementary student council, $21.2160. Wendy Watkins, co-middle school student council, $1,856.40.
So we need a motion to approve the contracts and resignations list with the addition of Sydney Berger on there.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, Okay, we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. B, we have approved the 2025-2026 one-to-one handbook. Most of these we got presented last month. You were supposed to look at it, if you had any questions, get a hold of the individual people. Didn't really hear anything. Any additional changes than what we already saw, so. We would need a motion to approve the first one, 2025-26.
Motion to approve the one handbook.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, next item is 2025-26 high school student handbook.
The only changes I'm aware of, I think there were some tweaks based on like, like some cleaning up some spelling and grammatical things here and there. I couldn't even point out where those were, but I think that might be a change from last month. So,
If there's no additional questions, we need a motion to approve that handbook.
Make a motion to approve the high school student handbook. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the high school student handbook. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Next one, middle school student handbook. Any changes? Nothing? Okay. We just need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the middle school handbook. Second.
We have a motion and a second for the middle school handbook. All in favor? Aye. All right, next item, elementary student handbook.
Make a motion to approve the elementary handbook.
Okay. That second you, okay, just making sure. All right, so we have a motion and a second for the elementary student handbook. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Next one is the activity handbooks. Anything to add at all? No?
Make a motion to approve the activity handbook. I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the activity handbook. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Next one is to set the student meal prices for next school year, 25-26. So they increased a little bit. Which
Yeah.
I think we were expecting that.
It's in your board packet. We did a quarter last year. We'll do a quarter this year. There's a paid lunch equity tool that I need to complete. I put in our October 2024 meals and the cost. It says you need to increase your meals by 28 cents. The feds say you don't have to go that high, but you have to go at least 10 cents. So we just went a quarter. And this is in your board packets. For 2024 September through May, the total breakfast and lunch meals served were 60,482. For this last school year, it was 52,172. So we did serve 8,300 less meals than we did the previous year. The enrollment from 2024 to 2025 was 589, 579, 578 in May. I think it's pretty telling, the enrollment as well as the free and the reduced and the paid applications. If you take 2017, the enrollment was 693, our free applications was 295, our reduced was 46. And then if you go over to the school year that we just completed, the enrollment was 578. Free applications in 2017 were 295 and they were 139 for last school year, and the reduced was 46 versus 21. Paid was 352 in 2017 and 418 in 2025. So, the second page in the packet is just based on the meal served last school year and the 25% increase. I'm sorry, 25 cents increase. The difference would be 7,665.25. And then the adult meals we won't approve probably until August because there's a formula that you need to take in those. Those aren't out yet. So for the adults again.
This is just for students.
This is just for students. And then the milk will remain the same at 55 cents.
And the reason that it was so high back in like 1950, we got a lot of.
Why there was so many,
Yeah, like the reason why like our.
You just had better participation, and that would have been like pre-COVID. And
more people filled out the free and reduced lunch application,
That's more.
so, yeah,
So they really need to fill out their forms.
and get approved.
Fill out the forms. Yeah.
but I think we've got people that qualified and just won't fill it out.
Yep.
And then they just don't pay the bill. And this is a common thing. A lot of school districts are facing this all across the state, really across the country. Because when they made all the lunches free, just people got out of that habit of filling out that form. And it's never gotten back to what it was.
It's like a good story for the paper to put out there, right? Before it's finally start. Just doesn't work.
50% difference in like. Getting fall.
And that's why our federal reimbursement compared to previous years is down because of the,
Yeah, because if we get that federal money, it just helps everything. I mean, that federal money makes us.
So we need a motion to approve the student meal benefits at 25% increase.
Make a motion to, set the student meal prices with the 25% increase.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
I,
Right, motion carries. Next one is the bids for the middle school library flooring.
Who's talking on that one?
Well, we got one, I think we got one bid on that.
One bid on that.
Okay, and that is for Hills Interiors, $8,465.41. We may do a change order, on a different type of flooring, but that's perfectly legal to do.
Okay.
I think I would recommend we accept the one bid we got.
We need a motion to approve the bid for middle school library flooring from Hills Interiors, Inc. for $8,465.41.
make motion to approve the bid from Hills Interior for $8,465.41.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Okay.
Motion carries. Next one is the bids for the asbestos flooring removal at the middle school.
And this, and Bill can speak to this too if you'd like, but just, this is kind of outside the scope of the project because, it needs to be done before we start, but there are some areas that have some asbestos flooring there. And it made more sense for us to just bid it out and do it. It's more economical, no markup. Is that pretty much it, Bill?
That's it, yep.
Um,
And it's just floor tile, it's not the mastic underneath. They didn't find anything in the ceiling, so.
Pretty straightforward. Yeah, if we weren't doing actual construction, you probably wouldn't take it out. You would just put other flooring over it. But we do need to abate it, so we have two bids, one from L&L Insulation, for $24,840, and one from Horsley Specialties Incorporated, $20,975. And I think Bill's worked with both companies,
I've worked with both of them, they're both reputable companies, so.
so we should accept the low bid.
You had no concerns with they bid the same thing, there isn't one that we're getting out of the other. They bid it across the board the same.
They bid exactly the same.
So then we would need an approval for the low bidder Horsley Specialties for $20,975.
Motion to accept the bid from Horsley Specialties for $10,975. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, surplus list. There's no can.
This is the same.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the good thing?
You guys think that's so?
It is funny.
Okay, support DVD players.
I mean, those affordable DVDs, they always said God, we were some money.
All right, we have to make a motion to approve this surplus list.
The surplus list.
Okay.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. All in favor?
I,
Motion carries. We have a ballot.
Yeah, so on that, it's a runoff between Ryan Rollinger and, Brittany Idy. And so we had voted for Brittany Idy last month. Would you like to do this? If you'd like to do the same, motion second, yada, yada.
Motion second to vote for Brittany ID. Where's it supposed to be?
make a motion.
Okay, I'll second.
Lux, yours, motion and a second for Brittany ID.
So,
Okay, motion carries.
you can sign as well, yeah.
So the next item is the first reading on policy GCD.
Okay, and that was sent out in the packet, and as I had stated in the memo, it's not really gonna be a change in practice or policy. It's just separating out the volunteers from the paid employees and making that its own policy. So the GCDB policy, it very little change at all. It's just writing the word volunteers out of there. And then GCDBC is a new policy crafted around those volunteers. So
And this policy came down from the Associated School Board. It's their change that they're suggesting to make. for
Yes.
everybody that follows it.
they are recommending that policy based on a recommendation and legal interpretation from DCI.
Yeah.
Okay. That should be separate.
Okay, so this is just a first reading. We're not making any decision today. It's just if you have questions or concerns, I think is all this one was. Okay. The next item then is a first reading on policy GCDC. And same, yep.
Yep.
Basically same thing. Okay. Any questions on that one? If not, we will see those again. We had 3 correspondences in there, one from the family of Andre Silva, Alicia Stagner did one, and the elementary staff. And there was copies of them in the packet from everybody. Administrator reports, Dr. Pearson.
Okay. Here's where it grinds to all. Well, I have 3 things, but the first one is a little long. Usually we do renewal of insurance rates, renewal of our insurance and approving the new rates in the June meeting. We had pulled that out of the agenda because we didn't have the quotes yet from Chris Roberts. And the reason for that wasn't like Margie dragging her feet on this, and really Chris wasn't dragging his feet in either. But what the thing was the premium rates came in at what Chris thought was a pretty high increase, like 17%.
It was less than 17%, 16.68%, so.
Right up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he was pushing back with EMC a little bit, trying to get to the bottom of, what is the reason for these rate increases? And that took time. So he didn't have it ready when the packets went out. Well, Margie and I met with him today and he kind of explained, and it's kind of not done yet. There's still some wrangling that the rates might come in lower, but basically it's kind of a nationwide trend that with property insurance, it's getting real expensive. There are these huge jumps. As a side note, I would also kind of tell you guys that I've heard, some horror stories of school districts in South Dakota and elsewhere having trouble, especially if they have some older buildings, having trouble getting their buildings insured. There have been some school districts that have been dropped by their insurance companies. We certainly don't want that to happen. Now, we've done some things like, I'll report on that in just a little bit, but like some of our electrical upgrades we've done at the high school. Our old buildings are really in good shape, and so we haven't run into that trouble with, you know, maybe not being able to be insured, but my point is, I think it's something we don't really want to mess with. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna give you those numbers, and the full insurance quote is in the board packet, just got uploaded today, so you maybe haven't had a chance to see it. I'll run through those numbers though, that we just got today. But I think the big thing I want you guys to kind of chew on a little bit is, we could have added it to the agenda and had you approve it, and we just felt like that's pretty quick turnaround. We don't have much choice because, you know, you can't really, there are two insurance carriers for school, for property. Yeah, go ahead and take one of those, pass it down. There are basically two insurance carriers, EMC or the Associated School Boards. And those of you who've been on the board a while know that we used to be with Associated School Boards, got out of that. And so it's not just simple, just go back. Anyway, the timing is gonna be kind of critical. We are going to put this on the special meeting agenda July 1st. So that'll give you a little bit of time to digest it, ask any questions. It'll also give us time to kind of get, if there's any rate change, if it does come down a little bit, we'll have that final rate before we approve it. Okay, and then I'm going to talk a little bit on the premium rate and then a little bit on deductible. There's kind of a wonky thing going on with the deductible too, that great news either, but another one of those things that kind of is what it is. So if you take a look, look at that page in front of you, and it's the last page on the big packet here. The property insurance is jumping from 153,600 to 186,659. And if you go down the line, inland marine staying the same. Crime actually is dropping a little. General liability staying the same. Commercial auto jumping by like $1,358. That's some pretty quick little math. Cyber staying the same. Public official liability staying the same. Umbrella went down 300, but our total premium is going from 203,669 to 237,646. So pretty good jump there. And then our workers' compensation is going from 26,453 to 31,678. We've had some fairly significant claims, and there's not, you can't go into a lot of detail in a public meeting, but like just employees getting hurt at work, weird things happen, and it's gonna take surgery. It's gonna, you know, things like that, really jump up your workers' comp insurance. So having said all that, one thing that's really kind of disconcerting is the wind and hail deductible is, they're popping that up from
I think it was 75.
75,000, correct. Oh, I know what it is. On our three buildings, three main buildings, it's 1% of the value. Okay, so that's gonna be like, the high school building is valued at like 36 million. And so, yeah, 36 million replacement cost. And so what that's gonna do, 1% of that is gonna be like 360,000. So just on that building, that becomes our deductible for wind and hail. So if we would have a hailstorm come in and destroy the roof on the high school building, for instance, you know, just a ballpark, if that costs 250,000 to replace the roof on high school, it's gonna be all out of pocket. That's what we're going to. And then like 1% of this building is valued at 17 million. And also just kind of do the math from there. The middle school is kind of the lowest value building we have. I think that's like 9 million. So anyway, you know, if we had like a big storm, kind of a catastrophic loss to all three buildings, which could happen. The last big hailstorm you had, was before I was here, but it damaged all three, correct, Bill?
Correct.
Yeah. It would be, you'd have that huge out-of-pocket deductible. That's not a negotiable thing. That's not, we can't do anything about, that's just what that deductible is going to. Okay, so I'm kind of going into a lot of explanation here, but, the good news on that is that, we carry a pretty large fund balance, even with doing this building project in the middle school, we're still projecting, even with projected decline in enrollment, we're projecting in a couple of years, 2-3 years, we're gonna be back to like a 200% fund balance. And I mean, that's really kind of unheard of for schools. There are some schools operating like a 25-30% fund balance. Those places are really lean. If we were a school like that and we were looking at this kind of deductible, it would be a pretty scary situation. For us, it's not as scary, catastrophically scary. It's just expensive scary if we would have a loss. Now, Chris did present to us a product that we could look at, a wind hail deductible buyback. And it's an insurance product, and that could bring that down to bring that deductible down to bring that deductible down to about 100,000 per building. Okay, the premium on that would be an additional 60,000 a year. Okay, so if you think about that, you're bringing that deductible down to 100,000. Well, you pay that premium twice, 2 years in a row, and you've been better off putting some money in the bank. If you pay that $60,000 premium for 10 years, that's $600,000. Versus, the potential of having like a $350,000, $400,000 out-of-pocket expense. So it's a little bit of a gamble. There is a way to mitigate that, and I guess my recommendation for you, and if you guys really want to look into it further, we can, but my recommendation is, I don't think that's worth the money, especially when we carry a cash balance that, while it wouldn't be fun, we could absorb. And then there's another one that, there's one that's like 100,000 per building, there's one that's 100,000 per occurrence, and you could bring that premium down to like 40,000 a year, but you're still looking at like a 100,000 per building. If that makes
Many
sense.
times you've been here quite a while, Bill, we can ask you, how many times have we had to
One
based on that?
Wasn't that in 19 or something, 18 or 19?
2018.
was my first year here, so 2018. And there was only one roof in the district that didn't get damaged.
Just,
Would it be an option to check with the Associated School Boards to see if they could get a quote? I mean, if we had to make a claim, even if it would be a different, maybe their deductibles, then do something like that, where even if it's more like with it.
I think, yes, the easy answer is yes, we can check with Associated School Boards. But we need to get our insurance renewed July 1st. And I think we're really, we can make some calls and check on that, but to get a quote and get it turned around and get coverage, I don't think we want to go a day without coverage. So we're on a tight timeline. I think it'd be a better, that'd be a good suggestion to look at for like the upcoming year when we have more time to look at a quote.
And I think sitting on ASBSD, I sat on that committee, they're with it. All across the board, all. Anywhere from 10 to 20% increase of it.
And we're associates will work for years, and we just kept seeing bigger increases. So that's when we went out and got some quotes from Nancy.
Yeah, because I remember when we switched.
Well, and the reason it's kind of industry wide is it's a reinsurer problem. So like the insurance companies, they'll cover losses up to a certain level nationwide. And then when it gets past that level, their reinsurer kicks in, and that's the reinsurers, which are only a handful of those, are kind of doing it to everybody, so.
So question, when does our other policies there? Are we safe to wait till July 1st to act? I guess.
Yes,
Okay.
we are,
Make sure we're not.
but he said he does not feel comfortable us waiting until the July meeting.
July 15th.
Yeah, the July.
July 1st.
July 1st is okay.
A special meeting.
Yeah.
You guys approve it and then the next day I make the payment.
Okay, just to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
then
then,
we really kind of pressed him on that question. He's like, no, July 1st.
okay,
And I get this, so like we're good, that's probably not that bad of an increase, like, I mean,
Give him the claim.
given the experience rating, something that yeah, give it another few years, let's go back down again.
And we had been really, like, we had some big discounts because we had done so well, didn't have claims, but now we're seeing these.
Yeah, these numbers are for the property.
is everybody, I mean, just overall fairly comfortable? If you have anything that you want us to provide between now and the next meeting about? If not, they kind of know where to go with this later, before, ready? Okay. Okay, so we'll just add this to the agenda at the July 1st special meeting.
Okay, what else? So things are kind of clicking right along with our, electrical project at the high school. They've got the old transformer and equipment completely out of there. So, yeah, you couldn't even hook it up right now if you tried. There's nothing to hook it to. But, that work is underway, and I don't know, Bill, we probably don't have an estimate right now. We're still looking at week and a half to 2 weeks, right? Don't have any.
We could possibly have power back on by Friday or by Wednesday afternoon, next Wednesday. Would still say that I probably would say probably.
And so with that, you guys have all kind of gotten the messages. We're really trying to keep people out of the high school building with the exception of the hallway that we have illuminated with generator and the gym too. We've got lights in there. We got lights in the weight room. So that the summer athletic programs are going on as planned in those buildings. Jamie has really, thank you, Jamie, done well by us to really make it pretty seamless. The only thing was like, after 4 o'clock yesterday, we were all like, no internet. Well, when the maintenance guys left at 4, they shut the generator off that's powering the black magic physical that makes the internet.
Yep, go home.
Anyway, we kind of talked through that and we're gonna let it run longer and just one of us will shut it down later at the end of the day. But anyway, and then obviously Bill's been running his tail off, you know, making things work. Like all seems pretty simple, like get a generator to run the gym, do this or that, or we can just put these people in this office. Well, any of those little seemingly small changes have been a lot of work for Bill and his staff. So I think they deserve a big thank you, from all of us. So, it's really seemed pretty seamless, because everybody's working very hard on it.
Good job, Bill.
Yes,
And
Thanks.
that,
Thanks.
they probably deserve a pizza party or something.
Or maybe something we can't bring to them in school. Anyway, the last thing I want to report on is, our summer programs with, weightlifting, open gyms. Cross country, we have something called open gym, open runs. We've had really strong participation in that, and, it's important for people to remember that with all these options, all these opportunities to get better, and we really need kids to participate in these things to make our teams better. But it's also important to remember that it's kind of like eating from a buffet. We go across the street from Silverado here, you can't eat it all. And so we have to kind of remember that, you know, some kids are gonna do more than others. But anything these kids are doing to make themselves better, we wanna applaud that, and we're trying to get the message out that, you know, we're not penalizing kids who can't participate or, and it's a little bit of a cultural shift, because some of these things are kind of new. So getting the right attitude and the right message across to everybody, I think it takes constant communication. But some of the good news, like I think even with the power outage and the generators and all that, Zach had 38 kids today weightlifting. The numbers have been running between 40 and 45, is that accurate?
Yeah, I think the most I had in was 52, counting some 6-figures last week, so
You know,
anywhere over 40 has been pretty normal.
football team is at a camp at Black Hill State, starting tomorrow. How many guys they got going today? Okay,
Today.
tonight. How many guys they got going?
22.
22 high schoolers.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah, like a lot of good news going on right now with our athletic programs. And I think when kids are doing well in athletics, it translates into everything else. It, you know, it just improves your culture. So that's really good news. So that's all I've got.
Sheets down here. Okay. What thoughts there? No? If we didn't have anybody, so,
I have a question. Is
yes,
there a job for update? They heard anything more?
he posted, what I see, Derek posted something on his Facebook page that they were okay for this round. Our local one, not everybody, but our local one
For this year.
for this year. But that's as far as he knows.
And I just got a text from Derek right before the meeting. He's out of town, so I haven't heard anything else from him.
That's the only thing I heard that for this year is okay. Yes, that's good. But they're still hurting. Okay, so we have, I suppose we should probably the special meeting on the break. So we have a special meeting on, is that a Tuesday? Tuesday, July 1st? So Tuesday, July 1st, 2025 at 5:30 at the high school, right? We'll be at the high school. And then we have our regular meeting on Tuesday, July 15th at 5:30.
Yep.
Okay, we need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
I have any.
Motion carries. Thank you, guys.
Not quite a record, but pretty short meeting.